Hello and welcome to the demo of the new Tungsten Dashboard version 8. Tungsten Dashboard version 8 is installed using a tar file. The installation scripts inside the tar file support two primary ways of installation, a Docker Compose method or a Helm installation method. For the sake of this demo, I'll install the dashboard using Docker Compose and secure it using a self-signed certificate I prepared beforehand. For your deployments, we recommend that your certificates are signed and created by a trusted authority. To begin with, move the tar package onto a host and a platform from which you have access to Docker Compose and unpack it. Please familiarize yourself with the README file in the installation directory before you begin. But to run you through quickly what we have, first we have the environment file, which is supplying the environment variables to the Docker Compose installation. We have the Docker Compose file itself, charts directory used by Helm, getCert helper script, which allows you to fetch certificates from Tungsten clusters. We have the images directory, which houses OCI compliant images for the Docker Compose and Helm. We have the installation script itself, and finally a Let's Encrypt to Jetty helper script, which converts Let's Encrypt certificates into Java key store files. Please remember that using this helper script requires that you have access to Java key tool. Finally, we have the values.jum file, which is used by the Helm installation. Before I begin the installation itself, there are two things I need to do. First is copying the certificate I've already created. And the second one is a small recap about the ports of the dashboard application. The dashboard itself has three ports. It has the application port, an SSL port, and a browser port. The application port is where the backend server and the container respond from, and it is used for insecure connections only. The SSL port is optionally exposed by the container and by the application when you have a SSL configuration that terminates at the dashboard web server. The dashboard web server is also capable of redirecting insecure traffic to secure port. And finally, we have the browser port. The browser port is added to all the URLs that the frontend will call the backend with. And in simple setups, the browser port should match either the SSL port or the application port, depending on whether or not you have HTTPS enabled. For more complex setups, the browser port should match the port of your proxy or the port of your Kubernetes ingress, for example. In our case, we're going to be using the standalone secure configuration here, in which case the browser port is going to be the SSL port. Please note that because it is this secure application configuration, the installation script will not be asking us for the browser port separately. It is assumed and placed for us. To continue the installation itself, let's run the install script, select Docker Compose method, and then allow it to generate a secret for us. Please take note of the secret it generated and add it into the N file. It is our recommendation that you back up this secret somewhere for the sake of updates or reinstallations. If you lose the dashboard secret, you lose access to the dashboard itself. For the username, I'm going to be using admin. For the password, I'm going to be using admin dashboard. For my domain, I'm going to be using dashboard8.continuent.com. For the insecure port, I'm going to be using the default one. For the URL path, I'm going to leave it as empty. For the TLS and HTTPS, I'm going to be using the internal method. This is the standalone configuration in the README file that we showed earlier. I already copied the certification directory, so I'm going to answer yes here. The secure port is going to remain as default. The Docker Compose file is unmodified, so the secret name stays the same. And finally, the key store password Now that all the options are given, the dashboard container itself is started. I'm going to be logging in using the credentials I gave to the installation script. And welcome to Tungsten Dashboard version 8. That concludes this dashboard demo. Hope you found it informative and hope you have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching, and bye-bye.